this is my outfeed table. It's basically pretty simple construction. The legs are pocket screwed together. They're basically L-girder legs. Keeps everything nice and light. And the top is melamine, which is nice because I can use this as kind of an assembly table if I need the extra space. Glue doesn't stick to it, and the wood coming off the saw slides good. And I basically used the extra melamine that I had from buying the sheet for the router station. So it works really good. There's a couple shelves and some storage down below that'll allow me to keep extra stuff, so I'm not really wasting the space underneath it. But it's really simple construction, and I built it using the scrap from building the saw station and the station for the drill press. So I was kind of able to utilize nothing but scrap in doing it. Put some slots in it for the miter saw, or not the miter saw, the miter gauge to slide into right here, and for my sleds to go through. But it works real good for being something just simple, and I built it basically in an afternoon. Okay, this is my my tool storage cabinet. It's just a simple cabinet. In fact, it's the first cabinet I've ever built. Nothing too fancy, poplar and some plywood. But it just gives me some place to store stuff and keep dust off. I keep my dust mask in here, keep the dust off my dust mask. Basically these, and just blocks for my thing. Nothing too fancy. I'll probably move it down the road. I think I'll move this and actually build a tool case. I got an idea and plans for one from Woodsmith magazine. It's got a tambour door because I don't have a lot of space. So one of the things that this is kind of problematic is swinging these doors. You actually kind of have to lean back because that only gives me a couple inches, you know what I mean? And then if they're open, they're blocking this. So I think a tambour door will work good for the amount of space I have. I know I'm giving up a little storage on the doors, but with the space, I think having that up and just being able to grab tools will work good. So I'm going to take the plans they have and alter them a little for my shop. That's basically this. Here's my original workbench and my pegboard storage. The good thing about pegboard is it's cheap. You can put it up anywhere. You can see things right at a glance. Bad thing is, you know, it gets covered with dust and stuff. But, I mean, it works pretty good. And when you don't have anything, it's a cheap way to get started. I recommend it. So I don't really see myself losing any of this pegboard storage. I might get moved around, especially the one on the wall there, the silver one. I might move that over near my bandsaw or something like that, because I want to eventually get another tool chest in there. But it's great. It's cheap, and it's a great way to get started. This is my sanding station. Basically a little cabinet that I made out of, believe it or not, some scrap MDF. I need a little bit of MDF and wound up buying a whole sheet. So it's got some pegboard storage. It's got 80, 100, 220, 1000. It's got various grits and holds new fresh sandpaper in each one of these trays. I got some sanded pads, dowsing stuff that I use for sanding. My card scrapers. I recommend anybody gets some card scrapers. These are some sanding blocks that I made. They're real nice. I mean, I must have spent 100 hours shaping the wood by file because I didn't have many tools at the time. But you know, they're nice. They work great. I learned a lot doing them. So if if you can always learn something by doing little projects like that, great. It's the first time using a Forstner bit. I wish I had a drill press when I did that, but it seemed to work. The holes aren't perfectly straight, so it'd be nice if I did have a drill press, plus the Forstner bits are a lot safer with a drill press. I got some drawers that I keep scrap sandpaper in. The bottoms are made leftover pegboard, and that's to allow the sawdust to fall through. That is my first attempt of making a dovetail in particle board, in NDF. I just figured, well, why not try cutting it? I cut them by hand. They are atrocious, but not too bad. I mean, they actually hold the drawer together with a lot of glue. And for this, it doesn't matter. I never really pull that drawer out. So it was just a practice. I figured, what the heck? I mean, why not? I just give it a shot. It's also got on the side here an old hacksaw blade. It's an old blade that was dull. That works great for the sandpaper. And just a little latch to keep everything closed. Store some stuff up on the top. Works great. Slapped it together in about a weekend. It's nothing fancy. Okay, this is my workbench. It was basically built out of plans I found in a fine woodworking magazine. Cecil, I think was the last name of the guy who designed it. I don't really remember. I'll try to get that info. But I love this bench. It's made of laminated birch ply. The legs are laminated, and in those laminations, you create, by creating the center lamination longer, you can create tenons that will go into mortises created by leaving space in the plywood in the center sections to allow this to be mortise and tenon together, which makes it really sturdy. It's super heavy. It's super strong. Surprisingly, you can hardly budge this bench. And for being made of plywood, it wasn't that expensive. I think I spent about $200 on the entire bench, maybe $250 with the vise included, and the edging and everything. The edging is just poplar, but it does a really good job. I drilled some bench holes in it for the vise, and put a Shopfox vise on the end, which I think cost me under about $50 or so, about $60 somewhere in there. I screwed the mortise and tenons together, and then covered them with dowels to kind of dress them up. This bench ain't going anywhere. Well, as you can see, my shop is not that big. It is a challenge to try to fit everything in here. But not only fit everything in here, but fit it in a logical way that kind of makes sense for woodworking. You really kind of have to plan things out, and I like that aspect of it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I would love a 3-car garage, and wouldn't know what I would do with that much space, Mark Spagnola. But yet, I'm happy for the amount of space I have. 2 years ago, I didn't have this space, you know, so I'm really kind of glad for it. It's my little pine-scented oasis. And I'm sure we're going to see things change. I still got to get more tools in here. I have to get a joiner. I would like to get a lathe sometime, maybe over there. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll suspend it from the ceiling somehow. I don't know how I'll do it. But that'll be part of the challenge. It's like a giant puzzle. So, until the next podcast, I find to be very